Roxanne.
Hey.
Nice tie-dye shirt.
Oh, yeah. My nephews made it for me.
Yeah. What's, what are their names again? I always mess up because I make fun of one of their names.
Dylan and Mason.
Mason, okay.
Tanner.
I always want to say Tanner and Mason.
It's okay.
Oh, that got Luna active. Is that Rufus?
Yeah, big old jug of milk.
Almond milk, bro. I can't drink that dairy stuff anymore.
Do you have a problem with it, or you just...
It just doesn't sit right anymore.
Yeah.
And Shelby can't really drink it, so... Yup.
Can't believe they let you live in Wisconsin without drinking milk and eating cheese.
I know. Well, I eat plenty of cheese. Because, you have to, right? You can't give up cheese. It doesn't matter if it hurts. You still have to eat it.
Everybody in Wisconsin has a quota to fill every year.
I got my book out today.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to mute myself because it's going to be loud.
Okay.
What did I write in there for you for Prague? I felt like I wrote little notes for everybody.
Yeah. You were, I can't remember, you were writing about Wilson, and I have no idea who that is.
Roxy. Hold on. We'll let Eugenio explain.
Yo.
Roxy said she's got her book out, and I wrote in there about Wilson, and she doesn't know who that is.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
What?
The vice grip?
I don't remember Wilson.
Wilson the vice grip. Yeah. Yeah, he was our roommate in Prague who had a very firm handshake and really loved privacy.
Oh.
No, he didn't like privacy, if I remember. It's everybody.
Yeah, that was the joke. Yeah.
Was it you who walked in on him?
It was multiple. It was three of us.
I did not remember that.
Yeah.
Did we try to?
While trivia was going on downstairs, one of us had to go back to get a shirt, and we made the initial mistake, and then we just came back kind of shaking, we couldn't believe what just happened. And so I think I was the second one because I remember rattling the door handle very loudly, yelling that I was entering the room, and still it was a frantic last second covering his his groin.
Oh boy.
I'm starting to think he was waiting for us.
I was also remembering, I believe somewhere in here was when Eugenio popped my blister.
Yes.
No, that was all three of us.
Yeah.
I think that was Vienna.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. That was in Austria. Yeah. I think, right? Or wait.
Those notes.
Were they both in Prague?
That was in Prague.
Was
Yeah,
it?
in Prague.
Yeah, because those nurses told us to never pop a blister, and I'm pretty sure all three of us were like, Roxy, don't listen to those medical professionals. Let's go.
Yeah, I remember that was awful.
And three full-grown men were trying their hardest to hold down one small little girl.
In a bathroom in Europe.
She's like a wild Mustang trying to kick out of that.
As Wild Horses starts playing.
We also started doing this. Can you see?
Yeah.
I wish there was a video of that so we could have seen you shaking violently. Saying,
Every single one I did not appreciate doing, and you made me do it in every single city we were in. I had forgotten about that until I was looking through my photos last week, and I was like, oh my God, there are so many statue photos.
a couple of them were really good.
this time that Eugenio stopped ordering any food in hopes that he could just finish off my meal that I inevitably would not finish.
Yeah, there was a while there where it was like I would buy bread or sandwiches and that's it. I was like, fuck this, dude. I'm spending so much money. I think that like from the third week with you guys on through the end of the time with Tom, and of course, like pretty easy to save money with Tom, except that he always tries to fuck you over. So he's like, yeah, we'll split it. And then he'll eat 80% of that shit. But yeah, I think that I sat down at one point and I think I spent less than like 2 to 5 euros per day for like those 5 weeks on food, like total. It was great.
And Roxy would be like, I'll take the jamon biscuit. And he was like, yeah, that's probably just cheese. Like
Jamon is Spanish for vegan.
Yeah, that was very overwhelming. That's when I just resorted to my chip and cheese sandwiches.
Man, I should have one of those.
And I feel like I have like vague memories of us like telling people to make chips and cheese sandwiches and all of us being like, you're welcome for blowing your mind. And people just being like, what? So
Like-
just bread, cheese, fried potato. That's it. Yeah. Okay.
We're in like the culinary capital of the world in like multiple of these countries. And we're eating chip and cheese sandwiches from the grocery store.
Yeah. Perfect.
I'm trying to think if we had anything like Czech to eat. Like I don't recall what we ate in Prague at all.
We had Chinese food because
Oh, yeah. Oh my god.
Tom found us a Chinese food place.
He's like, it's
That
like
was
$2
cheap.
a person.
Yeah. There was a mound of food.
Yeah, where the fuck did I eat? I feel like most of the meals in Prague were at the hostel, right? Or am I don't know. I guess I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we just ate kind of stuff on the go, like as
Yeah, I think actually. Okay. So I remember now when we were trying to either. I remember going to like the little convenience stores at the train station. God damn it, phone fell. Yeah, going to like those little like stores at the gas station and just eating like the prepackaged sandwiches and shit. But that's really all I remember.
remember like right upon arrival, we're like, oh, this Czech Republic doesn't take euros. Roxy, why don't you get $200 out of the ATM? One bill comes out. We're like, what? And we're like,
And none of it was a krone, yeah, like 1 krone bill.
yeah, it was like
and-
200,000 krona or whatever, like in one bill. We're like, can you make change for this? Everyone's like, no.
None of the vendors could. And like I think the only way that we got through that was we bought like a quarter's worth of that value at some grocery store in the train station, and that was like a big enough purchase for them to break it.
Maybe that's why I remember the grocery store. Yeah.
But like we wanted to get train tickets for it, and we couldn't. And then we were just standing there, and somebody walked up and like gave us free tickets. Remember?
Yeah.
That's right.
We didn't know if they were gonna work, and
Yeah.
on the escalator down, it was a giant escalator. We saw like 2 cops, and we got nervous.
Yeah. And that's where we started. That's where we found out that what was it, like the price for everything was 70 krona or whatever. Like the fine for jumping on the train, the fine for hopping a turnstile, everything was 70. Yeah.
I just remember being so overwhelmed with the like currency in Prague, and like for the life of me, I could not figure out like how much was something, and so you guys had to pay for like everything. It was so overwhelming.
I also have no idea how much we paid for anything.
Yeah.
I remember just deciding everything was cheap and not thinking about it again.
We thought we had a nonstop train from Munich to Prague, and we ended up getting to like this defunct train station where we had to get off and transfer. I don't remember if we transferred to a bus, which then took us to another train
I
station,
think so.
but like we had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, they like came on the
Oh,
intercom
man.
and in German we're like, whatever they said, and we're just sitting there like happy-go-lucky. And then somebody comes in
That's
with
right.
our car and like, "Are you American?" We're like, "Yeah." "Get off the train." "Oh, what happened? We're not there yet.
Did we sit on the top of a double-decker bus or no, I'm sorry. I'm confusing the bus when we first got to
That was Milan to Venice.
Milan. That's what it was. Okay, never mind. Sorry, that's the one I was thinking of. Okay. Man, I don't know that I actually remember that then. The Prague train thing.
We were just like, yeah, we were just were the girls on that train that we
The young girls had gotten off at previous stops.
okay, and then we like, yeah, we were
Mhm.
just sitting in our cabin by ourselves, and yeah, they came
Oh,
and got
yeah.
us off the train.
Okay.
Because they were doing like construction on the border.
Yep.
They, like we took a bus across the Germany-Czech Republic border and then got in the next train station and continued.
That's right.
Weird.
Oh yeah, it's in the book about that unexpected transportation.
Okay, Eugenio and Josh, before we get started, do you think I'm having a boy or a girl?
I already know.
Did Roxy ruin it?
No,
Not saying anything.
no. I
Um,
think Paige discerned it from a cryptic social media post.
Well, maybe somebody did post it. Yeah, maybe she did.
I don't think she posted anything.
Oh, okay.
There was a
Maybe.
there was a picture of a tree that seemed very out of sort, and it just had like pink flowers and stuff. So we were
Oh, that's in our front yard.
okay.
So what do you think it is?
So Paige thought that was like, hey, it's a girl.
That
I do think it's a girl. I just assumed from last week that it was going to be a girl.
Yep. Josh?
Nice.
No.
Well, that's what I'm going.
Oh,
with.
my bad.
That it was like,
My bad.
hey, I'm taking a picture of this pink tree because I'm all excited about pink and stuff.
Not
Okay.
because it's spring and that's the tree that happens to be outside.
That's flowering right now?
Yeah. That's just spring, Josh. They didn't time the pregnancy with the tree.
I'm just
For your-
I'm going
the
with-
social
I'm
media
going
post.
with Paige's intuition on that. That it was even if it was unintentional, it was like
Yeah. Well, we both definitely thought it was a girl, but we're having a boy.
okay.
Oh, shit! Oh, my God!
Rocky told me before he got on.
I did not.
Dude,
Congrats.
that's nuts.
Yeah.
Another Helmead boy. God damn.
Yeah, so my mom will have 3 grandsons, and Shelby's parents will have 2 grandsons. Yeah.
So Tanner Helmead.
Wow.
What's you said you had a name for it now.
We're not telling everybody the name.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Josh, you should once a day be like, you're not naming him something stupid like, and then just text him one every single day.
That was so bad. Just like everybody kind of looked at me and I was on fire, and then Matt was kind of just like, that's my son's name, right? Like you're like.
Was it for Mason or for Dylan? I don't
For
remember.
Mason.
Oh, okay.
We were playing
Yeah.
last night with a werewolf, and there's cards that say Tanner, Mason, and there's some other
Oh, my
name. And I
Werewolf.
Was
Yeah.
like, werewolf.
Werewolf.
And I was like, these sound like 3 guys you might run into at a frat party, like or something like that. Everyone's like, yeah, it's kind of a dumb name, and I was like, yeah, it's a really stupid name. And then Matt's just like, yeah, that's my son's name.
Yeah. All like everybody who realized the Mason thing was like, yeah, what a stupid name, right, Josh? Just staring at Matt.
Okay, well, that's awesome, and everything else about the visit was good. Like,
Happy and healthy. Yeah, I didn't get to go. So it was like a 45-minute thing, and they told Shelby to look away when they started working their way down from the waist,
Okay.
from the baby's waist. And so we got to find out together, which was pretty cool. Yeah, we opened an envelope, and like we're very shocked because we had planned on a girl. We didn't even look at nursery boy stuff or anything. It was girl from the get-go.
Just rub a little dirt on it. It'll be fine.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like I'm secretly very, very happy. Not so secretly.
Yeah, why secretly?
Well, because like I also wanted a girl, and maybe I didn't like try to get my hopes up for it being a boy, so maybe I didn't even think about it being a boy. But I'm really, really stoked because our nephew Wes is going to be a year older than our baby boy, and he lives like 20 minutes away from us. So I get to grow.
Did you almost say the name?
No.
Is it Bay something?
Said baby boy.
Sure.
Benjamin Jr. the third.
Our Barry. You're calling him Barry, aren't you?
Barry.
No, that's the Frontier CEO.
Buster Blue.
You guys are having an 80-year-old baby.
It's gonna be like a little mini you.
Yeah, 'cause I had so much extra skin, they called me Yoda.
Oh god.
Like, drooping over. Really glad I grew out of that. So I got to keep my hair long.
Long.
Longer.
Dude, that's awesome. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
I mean, either way, it's congratulations. The healthy thing is
Yeah.
really all I cared about. I was secretly just hoping that, I hadn't heard anything because I was just not on social media. But, like, when I didn't get a text or anything, and it's like 5 or 6 or 7 days later, I was like, oh, my man, I'm not bringing this up. I'm just going to wait. Like, yeah.
All good. 10 fingers,
Yeah.
10 toes.
I was hoping it was triplets.
I was hoping it was twins.
I was hoping it was twins too.
Yeah.
Surprise, there's 3. No.
And you should tell them about the gender reveal for Matt and Katie.
Why?
It's funny. It's funny.
No, it's okay. We can move on to Europe.
All right.
Wow.
We'll talk to Ben after. We'll get it out of him.
Sounds good. Yeah, we're crunched for time.
That's true.
So should we start off talking about little Ben, little baby Helmead's namesake, Wilson, or?
I actually like that name for a girl.
Wilson?
Oh,
Yeah.
like Wilson. Isn't Wilson Phillips? She's a singer, right?
I don't know.
Or am I making that up?
Maybe.
I think that's
Okay.
true.
Thanks.
Oh, it's Joe informs me that it's last names of a group. The last names of the people in the group.
In heart?
That's right.
I'm embarrassed that I know that. I'm sharing
No. Dude, I knew that it wasn't exactly right, but yeah. I knew they were called Wilson something. I didn't know that. Yeah. Okay.
Hey, Joe.
You want to just jump on, Joe, or what's up?
It's technically working.
Hey, man.
Yeah, me too.
Hey.
Sorry. Continue.
Oh, you good, Joe?
I couldn't let that error, that omission go uncorrected.
I appreciate you.
If you got a bit of trivia, just jump in.
What'd you say?
I said if you got a bit of trivia, just jump in.
Oh.
One thing that we haven't talked about up until this point, but it's definitely made several appearances, is the mini soccer ball that we're always juggling.
Dude,
And
yes.
in Prague, we were juggling in the castle area, and a security guard told us that we couldn't do that.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
In Prague?
Yeah.
In Prague, yeah, we were on like the compound or the grounds.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, wasn't that when we were standing in line at Prague, the guy who just kept on like snorting and clearing his throat
Yeah.
so aggressively?
Wait,
Oh my god.
a picture for that. No, is this something related to that?
Oh,
I don't remember.
can you pull it up a little higher?
That's either Prague or Austria, I think.
Other side. Who's the other person? Oh,
Jack.
that's Stinky Pits?
Yeah. Maybe that was a different conversation. I just remember being disgusted.
That guy.
It might be that.
It was intense. And it was like every 5 seconds. Just
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he was going to hawk a loogie and then nothing would happen. Like that was the most confusing part of it. It's like, is there something there? Get rid of it. And if there isn't, stop doing that.
That's where we, also in Prague, we saw the world's #1 biggest disappointment?
Astronomical clock.
Yep.
Eugenio.
I liked it.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
It was pretty cool.
When Ben prefaced the mini soccer ball, I thought he was going to talk about blanket thing.
Oh, blanket.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I love
Dude, I
blanket.
forgot about it. God.
The,
You don't still have that, do you?
it's probably at my mom's house, I bet.
Nice.
I remember like the walk across from like Newtown to Old Town being like
Yep.
cool, like the bridge,
The bridge.
and then like
Oh, yeah.
St. Charles Bridge, it says.
And the Lenin, isn't that where the Lenin Wall is?
Good
Yep.
call, Huge.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, wait, I do remember getting like a really good sandwich on the other side of that bridge. We were walking to the Lenin, or to one of the, maybe it was a mass burial or
all the Jewish
something not fun.
Jewish ghetto graveyard.
Yeah, yeah. I do remember, I feel like we like ran into somebody from our hostel or something there. I have like a faint memory of running into somebody in the street.
I feel like we
How
got
many
like
people could I have known?
falafel sandwiches or something, or
Yes. Yep. That's exactly what I'm thinking of.
In the town square, we rode the 6 or 7 person bike for
The Octobike. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
do we pay for that?
Oh, and then we tried to get weed. Dude,
You and Tom did.
that's right.
Yep.
I totally forgot. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Oh, one of my favorite moments where I just looked like I can rewatch that moment as if I'm watching like some like shitty teen comedy. Because I walked into a bar, they told me to talk to the person on the right. And so it was an L-shaped bar. So I didn't fully go down to the right first. I went to the bar that I saw on my right. And I tell this guy that I'm trying to use code to get some weed. He very clearly knows what's going on, but he implies that if I buy a drink, that he would give me some weed. So I buy a drink, and he literally just leans out of the way and points to a different guy. And he's like, "Oh, you got to talk to that guy." And I was like, "Fuck." That is so funny, but fuck. And so he straight up was like, "Oh, no, they meant that bar." And so he just points to the other bar in there and eventually got some weed.
Yeah, it's pretty
Oh,
funny.
yeah.
Did we stick Roxy going backwards on that?
Yes, he did.
Probably.
For the entire bike ride.
I remember like I wanted to get off the bike, and I imagine Roxy did too, but like Eugenio was still like, "So if you like to party, like where would you go?" And I'm like, "Just let's get off that
Yep.
bike." It was like
No.
5 or 10 minutes too long, where we had to like watch you kind of dance around the subject. I'm like, can we just get off this bike?
Yeah. If I had known then that everybody smokes weed, I would have just asked up front and not spent all that time on the bike. Because at one point I was like, "Oh, okay, so we're gonna cross this plaza again. That's neat." But I really would love some weed.
I think we like whipped through like a wedding party. Like
Yes.
Like when, like after the bridesmaids crossed, but before like the guests did, like we kind of cut in between like the groups. Were just, like that. I mean, it was fun for a while, but it was like 5-10 minutes too long.
Yeah.
Okay, then we moved on to Vienna,
Did you?
which all of the flowers were blooming in Vienna, so that was pretty cool. That's where you guys bought concert tickets.
Yeah.
Nice.
Roxy led us on I think it was a World War II memorial walk, or maybe it was a dedicated Jewish walk.
Yeah.
We ate the world's classiest cake.
Yep. Chocolate cake. Yep.
Session.
That was in Rick Cleave's book that
Yeah.
I was on my walking tour.
That was like when you took point on like navigating, right? And you did a good job.
Yeah. Yeah.
We saw Mozart. Was that Mozart's house that day too?
Yep.
Or was that a different-
One of them, right? Was his birth house in
Yeah.
Salzburg, but his like adult house was in Vienna, right? Something like that.
That sounds right.
Also, one of the funniest moments happened in Vienna since Huge had just scored some weed the previous night. We were looking for a place to smoke it, and our hostel was pretty much in the ghetto. So we walked to a park.
Dude.
It was like a few blocks away.
I totally forgot.
We just sat on a bench
my
and then
God.
walked back to our hostel. And as we're walking back, we get to a corner, and it's a red stoplight, or there's a no walk sign. And we look to our right, and this girl says something to us, like probably a hooker. Like, we have no idea what she's saying, and she starts approaching, and Eugene and I are like, we're pretty baked at this point. Like, do we just walk, even though it says don't walk? I'm pretty sure we
And I think-
did.
And I think she ended up walking up to a car or something that was like idling. Because I remember like watching this whole thing and being like, no, like we're like a foot away. Like you guys are just gonna transact like right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the pleasure of not knowing where you're staying. You know, like we needed to smoke somewhere, so we left the hostel. Like let's go smoke.
I did not remember that.
I'm trying to think what me and Roxy were up to. I think there was like a bar down in the basement of the hostel. Maybe we just hung out there and like.
Oh, that does sound right. Yeah, they did have a little bar. Like they have I think they had like a pool table and stuff down there, right?
Lounge, like a bar lounge.
Yeah.
Then you
remember that.
guys left like the next morning, right? Like we kind of got to Vienna, and then you heard from Lucas, and we're like, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
So, we went to Graz. So you guys can finish up your Vienna next day.
Well, you guys left, and then we had well, we'll just have just the two of us in this 4-person room. And then in my extreme naivety, I was like, oh, this is the worst Donald I'll ever know in my life, because we had some douchebag roommate. And I'm like, no Donald could ever be worse than this. Oh, how wrong I was. And did I can't remember, like during the day, is that when I went up to the palace and like you went to that sports store?
That's one of the things I did. I just walked around and then
I remember coming back.
Dude,
I remember coming back and being like, oh my god, there's this amazing palace, and you're like, there's 50% off basketballs at the store. I was like, what?
Yeah, dude. This is a 4-story store. Are you kidding me? I spent like 2 hours in there.
And then we had our tickets, which we had. Did we have 3 or did we have 4?
You had 3.
Okay, because we were gonna bring like that one guy that we met in.
Yeah.
We
I
met,
thought he was our other roommate. Oh no, it was in the like cafeteria or something, didn't we?
we met him in Prague, and then he showed up in Vienna too. He was like Austrian
At the Wombat.
or yeah.
Okay.
Boys, they've been to
The
the
Wombat. Wombat.
So we got like all dressed up and went to Mozart.
Well, relatively speaking, as dressed up as I could.
We had button-down shirts.
Yeah, a picture of in jeans and a
My
button.
one button up. Yeah. The one time I put jeans on that whole time. What a waste of a pair of jeans.
Is that
Dead
the only time you
weight
put pants on the whole trip?
What's up?
Is that the only time you put pants on the whole trip?
Oh man, I can't imagine why I would have put pants on another time.
Probably
I
for
mean-
in the Vatican, didn't we all need to wear like jeans or something? I can't
I
remember.
don't think so.
No.
Isn't there a picture of me like carrying you
Yeah.
like upstairs in shorts?
Yeah, I was on your back. I had jeans on and like a shirt, and Eugenie was like in his like gym shorts, like
That's right.
carrying me to the Vatican.
Yeah, I just pulled them below my knees. Like, hey, they count. Listen, this is basically what the Swiss Guard is wearing, okay? Don't give me shit.
Oh my god. Do you want to?
Rox, do you want to talk about brats? Oops, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say that we had like our whole concert debacle, and then I think Eugenie and I just went and had Wiener Schnitzel instead, which was delicious. Totally okay night.
Amazing. Great night.
Because didn't you guys get kicked out of the opera because the tickets were fake, right? That was the story?
They
No.
didn't validate them, like they were supposed to like kind of check them off on a list if they were actually purchased and bought. So we like walked in, and they're like, "You didn't. These aren't paid for." And Eugenie and I exchanged glances, and like there was a pause, and Eugenie goes, "We didn't pay for these." And they're like, we're like, "Let's." And we're like, "We'll go pay downstairs," and he just ran out of there.
And to be perfectly clear, they would have hustled us, right? Because all of the shit they were telling us about the opera, like, there's no fucking way. This was one room with a bunch of aluminum folding chairs, and the front of it had a stage that was maybe 1 foot off the ground. Okay, like we're talking about like a mediocre gymacafetorium, basically, where we were gonna see the prima ballerina and the fucking whatever.
And
Yeah, as soon as we saw that, we were like, we're not paying for this.
and then the back wall was like painted like an Olive Garden or something. I mean, it was like pretend brick with like vine and shit. And we're just like, let's.
Dude, as they were, I realized that they were about to get us. We had the staircase behind us, and I just remember seeing like maybe 2 or 3 couples who were dressed to the nines. Like, basically their head would crest over the staircase, and they would like see what they paid for and realize what they had paid for. And just like, just these old people like thinking that they're going to walk into a huge opera hall, and nope, not at all.
On the flip side, we had a very unique and fun opera experience in Graz. That worked out for us.
They were playing the Sound of Music.
Yeah, I do remember. All in, like,
right?
Yeah, in German.
Yeah.
And Lucas, he was a foreign exchange student from our high school for the whole year, and we became pretty good friends with him. So that was the first time that we had seen him since high school. And he let us crash at his place. I remember playing FIFA with his roommate.
Yeah.
And Lucas had his final exams for his like senior year of college the next morning. So we met his sister.
Yeah.
And we maybe hung out with him for like 2 total hours that day. And then we went to the opera just by ourselves. We walked up, and since we had our student ID cards, they held like third row tickets right in the center stage, and we paid maybe like 10 euros for it. And like everything else was going for 100 euros plus. And because we had our foreign student tickets or IDs, we got a discount. So that was pretty great. Worked out for us.
Yeah. I remember also just hanging out with Lucas in like some open air, like beer garden type thing for hours. And it was just so nice to catch up in his hometown or his town versus ours.
Has he been back stateside since?
He has, but he hasn't been to Wisconsin. He took like a trip to New York or something, or
Okay.
yeah.
So you guys haven't seen him since then?
No.
I don't remember how we met up in Salzburg. Maybe it was at the hostel. Roxy and I just kind of walked in, and you guys were maybe watching a soccer game.
No, we ran into it at the Victualian or like the gardens, didn't we?
The Marienplatz.
Marienplatz.
Really? You just kind of rumbled into each other?
I think that, had been the tentative plan. I'm pretty sure Ben and I got in a couple hours before you guys got in.
I don't remember how that worked out. I remember that the morning of, like, we went to Eugene and I went to the wrong train station. And then they're like, oh, no, you want to be at that platform. You're like, you got to go up the escalator, over 2 blocks, then down there, and then over here, and then you want to go to this platform. And we're like, fuck. Like, we looked at the timetables. We're like, we're never going to make that. We're like, well, every train that we wanted to be on probably leaves 5 minutes late-ish. Like, it never just goes, like, right as the clock turns. So we took it across, get down, I'm, like, huffing and puffing. We walk through the door, and, like, literally, the door closes. And, like, if we didn't make that train, it would have been, like, another 3 hours or something like that. So, like, and then, I feel like the Salzburg train station was kind of under construction. So it was, like, kind of confusing to get out of there and get to the hostel, but I don't remember what it was.
What was the name of the hostel at in Salzburg? Or like some feature. I don't know why I can't remember. Like,
I don't really remember it either.
That's where Top Bunk was. Your friend Top Bunk.
Oh.
That's where we watched the
They had like that one kind of like kitchen area with like bench seating where they had TV with the soccer games, and they had breakfast there in the morning. It was like darker.
I'm struggling right now.
I did confirm that Roxy and I walked into the hostel and you guys were watching the World Cup opener game.
Okay.
And then before that game finished, you watched it, and then the three of us walked around Mirabel Garden, which is where I had to hardcore parkour off of Roxy's arm and a cement statue,
Oh my god.
and pinched it and felt really bad. And I remember buying her ice cream.
Yeah. I was so annoyed about all the damn parkour, and then it just came to a head when I got heard from it. And I was like, I'm done with you guys.
And that's really when our statue game took hold.
That one was good. I think Roxy probably tops, and then. Oh my god.
Have you guys seen that that's like one of the coronavirus things? Or I think the Met or the Getty or something like that put out like a, try and replicate really famous art with like household stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
So the hostel that we stayed at was called Yoho.
Yes.
Okay. The name sounds familiar, but... And that Top Bunk thing, when you said that reminds me of something, but I still can't, like, tie it to a person.
There was, this was before, like, PC culture took off. There was, like, a 300-pound girl that was staying in our hostel, and you're like, that girl probably Top Bunk. Like, oh my god.
Jesus.
All right. So not the wokest thing, but that is a solid joke. I stand by it.
The next day was when we had the infamous Sound of Music bike tour.
Oh my god, yes.
Pretty great.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Yep. The hostel just came back to me. Yep. Yep. I do remember watching Nigeria against who. Okay, sorry. Continue. Yeah, I'm with you guys now.
I remember you guys were like less than thrilled to go on the Sound of Music bike tour, but after the Eiffel Tower incident, you felt you had to give in to me on one minor request. And then I remember we pulled up and we were taking out our bikes, and Ben and Eugenio instantly locked eyes on the tandem. And
It was covered up too. It was covered up, and we were like, What is that thing?
And then the tour guide was like, "You're not going to want to do that." And it broke down almost immediately.
Yeah, wasn't the tour guide like, no, not that one? Like,
The best part was that we asked about it, and it like his response he thought was going to stop us. He was like, "Well, the back is designed for children," and we just sat there, just looking at him, unblinking, like, "Is that a yes? Like, can we use it?" Oh my god, dude! And Ben, do you remember almost ruining some wedding pictures in the square before we, like, when we first tried to get off and running on the tandem bike?
I don't.
It took us a few times, man, because like obviously I had never had somebody balancing in the back. You had never just had to balance on a bike, and we started trying to push off, and there was a wedding party that was taking pictures very clearly, like right after a ceremony, and it like we just had to abort. Like I just jumped off the bike and was like, no, we can't roll into like the bride and all this shit, and we. Like, I remember, like, picking up the bike, turning it 180, and, like, going the other direction.
Dang, I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah, literally, like, we hadn't even gotten going yet. We were already just holding everybody back. So funny.
I think it was one of my favorite activities we did on the entire trip, though, because it was, like, an all-day thing, and we just got to see so much of the Alps and, I don't know, just of the landscape that tourists normally wouldn't maybe get to see.
Yeah, definitely a beautiful countryside.
Yeah.
And Roxy, I think that's one of my favorite pictures that you and I have ever taken.
Yeah, same.
cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good
Did
one.
you ride it for a bit, or was that just a picture? Did you swap with
I think I rode it for just a bit on some
Country.
flat
It was
road.
like, and then if you can see like the flowers blooming in the foreground.
Yeah. Yeah, that was,
Yeah.
It was
I
so
remember,
amazing.
Like, we started off, and it was like down a hill by the river, and everybody's going down, and then all of a sudden, like, people are braking, people's brakes don't work, and like I had to jump off my bike to avoid like hitting somebody like 10 seconds in, and then we got across and we went like up the hill by the castle,
that hill was
and
atrocious.
my gears didn't work, and I was like in the lowest gear, so I did like 5 revolutions, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, I'm biking through quicksand. So I like had to jump off again, and I think I washed my bike up because I just couldn't like.
And that's where me and Ben were like, double horsepower, and we like started cranking, and the chain just ripped off the bike.
Oh my god.
We had to stop and get the teacher so many times.
Teacher.
It was
The chain fell off.
Maria Fraulein
Yeah,
and Maria.
Yeah.
We convinced our mom and Jan to take that bike tour when they went to Salzburg.
Yeah, did
Yep.
they have fun? Obviously.
Yep.
They also loved it.
Oh, dude, that night we didn't we go to a beer hall or like a mini beer hall, and we watched that was when England, the England goalie just like let a ball roll in, and we were watching with a bunch of English fans and just sitting there like,
USA, England.
yeah, was it a Dempsey or Donovan shot that just like
He
lightly
spilled it.
touched the goalie's chest and rolled in?
Yeah, I don't remember how that happened. But so we went there because the girls that we met on the bike tour from Alabama,
Yeah.
they were like, oh, we know of a place. And
There's
we
a
ended
picture.
up going,
Yeah.
you guys were foaming over these girls.
Yep.
And
Do you need to see the picture? Do you need to see the picture again?
Roxy and Eugenia.
Roxy, show him the picture again. Yeah.
okay, so we have two very different.
Roxy, where do you think the camera is?
My little picture. the corner, and I'm getting confused where I'm supposed to go.
When you say you two were foaming at the mouth, you mean Eugenio and Roxy, right?
Yes. Okay, so we have two very different perspectives of how the rest of that day went. So I want to hear Josh and Eugenio's, and then I'll tell my version of it.
I just,
We before we get to the beer hall, we walked around some gardens with them. We did some other stuff too, but obviously that's not the most memorable.
I don't know. I feel like we walked through that garden and it was okay. I don't know.
Okay,
I feel like
so talk about.
I remember one of them being cool and one of them being pretty fucking annoying. But the cool one I thought was even more like the most attractive. So I was like, yeah, it's fine. That's what I remember from
The
them.
one girl had she had two names or wanted to start being called a different name. Like that was annoying or something weird. I don't know.
All right, Ben, go ahead.
All right, yeah, no, I'll tell my version. So
Yeah.
they talk us, well, they didn't have to talk us very hard into going to the beer garden to watch the soccer game because we were all looking for a place to watch. We're like, oh, we went to this great place last night, so we'll go there again tonight. And we get there, and instead of going to pick up our beer and pay for it, we sit down at a table, and they flag down a hostess, and we put our order in, and I'm sitting there so uncomfortable because clearly you just go up and pay for it.
Yeah,
But they've found a waiter to come and bring us bottle service.
I remember that.
And-
Oh shit! I don't think I ever realized that.
Yeah, like I said, you guys were on a different level.
Yeah.
And I remember I was kind of on the end, and the guy next to me goes, you just walk over there and pick it up and pay for it, right? And I go, I know. We'd already ordered. And you guys don't remember this girl getting up on the table and chanting USA?
Yes, I do.
I remember that.
USA as it's happening, and all English fans around us. And the other thing was everybody calls it football, and she is screaming, "It's soccer! It's soccer!"
I remember after that we scored, I remember standing up with some people from North Carolina or South Carolina, and we were all at least I thought it was jokingly chanting soccer, soccer, after the goal.
It was weird.
She was also wearing an American flag. She had brought an American flag with her.
Yeah.
I remember being I don't know, sticking out like a thumb as a tourist. And I remember talking to some dude behind us about how Obama was the president and how they were worried that, the first black president would not be well received or something.
Damn. Yeah. I was super into the game and my impossible chances with what's her name.
Yeah, I don't actually know what her name is.
I don't remember Ben.
But she
I don't
was
remember
great.
Ben being there. What did we do anything the next day? When did I?
We went on to Venice, I think, the next day.
So also, I think that same day we got back from the bike tour. Everybody was super tired, but I still hadn't seen and toured a castle.
Yep.
So Roxy and I went up to the Salzburg Castle, which was built in the 1500s, and walked around there, which was really cool.
Yep.
I know that I had to convince you in going with me because nobody else wanted to. But also, so that beer hall story reminded me of the beer hall in Munich that we went to, the Augustiner beer hall, where we sat next to Germans and had a discussion about World War II.
Yeah.
And his version of being on the other side of World War II. That was a unique experience. But also going back to that, yeah, we talked about it before, but everyone was so open about Germany's history and wanted to make sure that it wouldn't happen ever again. Yeah.
Did we?
Yeah, that's one way to deal with bad history. The other is just call it the War of Northern Aggression and ignore slavery in textbooks.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
There's two ways of doing it,
Is that huge? Is that when we went to that?
Potato.
Is that when we went to that wine shop?
That was the
Yes,
first day
dude,
that you guys got there.
I was just going to ask if you remember that. Yeah, the guy was like either friends with like a soccer player. He was like a TV personality, right? Or some shit like
He was
that.
friends
And
with
we
a
got
guy
some
who was
wine.
doing the World Cup coverage because he's like, I'll call him right now. We're like, what? Like, and then he's like, here, what about this bottle of wine? This would be a good one for you guys to enjoy today. And it's like, this is like maybe $80 or something. We're like, do you guys have anything more like in the $5 boxed range?
Yeah. We spent so much time talking, and then at the end we were like, we're so sorry, we can't afford any of this.
Yeah, so we bought a juice box, basically.
Basically, yeah. We bought I remember like a Porto or something like that because it was like 15 euros only or some shit. Like, yeah.
Okay, going back to Germany again. On the walking tour that we took, they told us that like artists and architects thought that Munich might get destroyed. So they planned out and drew everything the way that it looked before any of the bombs hit Munich so that they could rebuild it to its previous state after the war, which was really cool. And also we went to the church. I forget like what it was called. There was like something devil.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was a footprint.
The Devil's
Yeah.
Footprint. Yeah.
But also, wasn't that where a bomb hit that
Across
And never exploded.
tile and it didn't explode? So that was
Yeah.
like the one structure that wasn't completely destroyed, or one of the few that wasn't completely destroyed, and it happened to be a church.
Yep.
And they had that.
Well, and you can, I remember that they pointed out that you can see like the pre-war, post-war. So in all those buildings that they rebuilt in general, you could see like the line basically where the original stopped and the recreation started. And I remember that church being like one of the biggest delineators, right? Because you can see where the bomb is. Everything above it was sort of reconstructed a little bit to fix it.
They have
Yep.
that golden brick in the church where they like deemed it a miracle. Uh-oh, Virginia was
Yeah, right.
And then I remember on that walking tour they pointed out a cannonball that was like some artist like had drawn a cannonball that was there from like a long time ago, and then he found the cannonball after the war, and like they put it back into the building, like had brick and mortared it back in right where it was, which I thought was pretty.
Yeah.
Damn.
Also in Salzburg, I think that's where Mozart was born. So he like made a name for himself in Vienna, but he was born in Salzburg, and so, or maybe he was buried too. And I think that's
Yeah. I forgot about
Oh,
that.
damn.
yeah.
Remember people on our tour group were like taking pictures and like hiding in the graveyard and like making way too light of it. It was kind of weird.
Yeah.
I remember some of that when we did the Vienna tour. When Roxy, when you took us to some
It was
like
a
an
little,
open book or something
Yes.
related to a library or something like that, and people were definitely like a little too casual around it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they like didn't realize what it was.
That happened at Dachau and the Anne Frank house too. Like there are people who were like
Yeah.
selfie mode, like peace sign, thumbs up, and it was like
Yeah.
not the time and place.
Yeah, I also have that same picture. So there you go again, everybody.
Nice.
Centered this time. Okay. God.
I'm really glad you pointed that out, an hour into our phone call conversation.
Well, you're like centered, but the pictures just weren't.
See, in my screen, I'm just a little blurb at the top. So I was getting confused what you could all see.
Okay.
It worked for most of the other pictures. It was just that one where when I saw two, and I knew there were 7 people in the picture.
Well, one of my favorite days was the next day in Venice because we were trying to. What were we trying to find?
The Vaporetto. But there's so many stories to tell before we get there. Because that's the train ride through the Austrian countryside. Yeah, and then we hopped on a bus. Well, it was, oh yeah, we hit Venice before Milan. Okay, so this was going to Venice. And then we took the bus to some plaza where we had to, we totally banked on Josh getting us around Venice.
Oh.
Since you had been there. Well, no, like you knew Italy, so I didn't like look into anything about Italy. I was like, oh, Josh has this handled. And we probably threw too much responsibility at you.
I did a fun
Again,
job, other than the boat thing. I thought that was bad.
Yeah. Okay, so we roll up. We don't know how to buy tickets, but we see the most beautiful bridge.
Stunning bridge. Stunning.
That we will ever see in our lifetime. The Calatrava. That is a architectural, just I don't even know. It's just gorgeous.
It's the efficiency of the design that I really love the most. Like if you were gonna build a bridge, that's the way you would build it.
Yeah.
Right? With as little torsion, as little chances that it would move during seismic activity. You know what I mean? Full supports.
That will be there for several generations. Even if Venice decays, like that will still be there.
Now
Josh's kids can take their kids to go check out the Calatrava as well.
Now I remember how I got frustrated with you, TDO, when we were in Venice. I think I actually yelled at him.
Okay.
Was it just around those jokes? I can't remember. I'm sure there was another reason.
No,
But
it was that plus there was just a constant barrage of, hey, why don't you know where we're going? It's like this is losing maze-like city in the whole world that just dead ends at
Oh, yeah.
and you're like,
yeah,
how come you didn't know where this alleyway went, dummy? And I was like,
yeah.
really like.
Yeah, I do remember when we were looking specifically for the glass blower at one point, because like I totally agreed, and that's what we had it out where I was like, yeah, I'm not helping at all, but I do expect you to know where you're going. Like if I were to lead you somewhere, my expectation would be to know where I was. You know, that's why I don't volunteer for. Yeah, at one point I was like, well then fucking know where you are, and I'll stop complaining.
But yeah, just the canals like cutting off, like you can see where you want to go. That's what's frustrating. And it's like, oh, I gotta walk half a mile down to the next bridge and then backtrack. That part of it's done.
Oh yeah, that was definitely 50% my hatred for the entire city, and I hope that it does sink.
I like Venice.
I say we break all the supports under the city and let it sink.
Okay, so we eventually get to St. Mark's. No, actually, I don't really remember. It started at 4.
And Hale. I remember that.
And Hale.
Yeah.
So Josh and I left you two under a bridge.
Wind tunnel.
We were in an alleyway where we thought the ferry picked up, but we couldn't buy tickets for that ferry there. So yeah, we stayed with all the bags and shit, and you guys ran. Because man, walking with our bags and everything, like in the hail, in the rain, was awful. So yeah, you guys left, and we were like, maybe they'll come back. I don't know.
Yeah, like how are we gonna find this again? But it was pouring rain, and Josh, some of my favorite pictures of you and me.
Yeah.
We're running around in the rain, just getting caught, and like, yeah, everything dead ended, but it was so fun.
Was that my jacket for some reason?
I think so, because
that is Eugenia's. Yeah, apparently you didn't have a rain one.
Yours is waterproof.
So you brought a jacket, and I brought a rain jacket.
Yeah, basically. But I remember like running around, and like everybody was closing their shop doors, and there's like people on balconies, and I'm like yelling out like what I think is in Italian, like, where do you buy tickets for the Vaporetto? And people being like that way, this way, that shop. Like eventually we get to some people and they're like, huh? Are you American? I was like, yeah. Like, well, why didn't you just ask in English then? I'm like, we don't have time for this. Like we just kept running.
I remember getting like to dead end canal areas and you and I contemplating trying to jump across the canal to get to the other side.
I remember you saying
That's
that.
the state that we were at.
Shut up.
Yeah.
That would have been great.
And the reason that we had to find the Vaporetto was because we were going to...
To Lido, or not Lido.
It might
Was
be
it
Lido.
Lido?
Yeah, because that's
Okay,
where
it was Lido.
I was.
Yeah.
And then, Josh, do you want to tell the story about how we actually found out where to buy tickets?
So we go to a stop because I was like so frustrated, and I asked the guy on the boat, "Where do you buy the tickets?" He's like, "On the boat, just hop on." I remember coming around the corner of the canal to where you guys were with on my face, just like you know.
It had been easily over an hour trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And just,
I remember that.
and just knowing like
Yeah.
there's no way that I'm like they're not gonna know what happened. So just feeling like an absolute asshole. We you guys are tucked in your like little coat, and we're just like, get on the boat, like let's go.
I remember so many times just like having scenarios where, well, first off, I can't remember the specifics, but I remember me and Roxy having like some real deep conversations during that time, but I don't remember the specific topics. And then second, I remember thinking like, what if a gang of street hooligans just like turns the corner and we're just sitting here with 4 bags and it's just me and Roxy, like I'm getting my ass beat. Like I hope I can protect Roxy long enough or barter with a backpack, preferably Josh's. Be like, that bag? I've never seen that bag before. You can take it.
I remember sitting there and watching all the boats go by. you know, longingly like, oh, there's another one. There's another one. And Josh is like, we buy them on the boat. And we're like, there they go.
So you could have just bought one of those, yeah. Not great.
So funny.
It turns out Lido was a good choice for a hotel. Was that the one with air conditioning? Yes. So we actually, we rolled up to the hotel. It's fairly late at night because it's dark and nobody's at the front desk. So what does Josh do? Just takes the piece of paper out, signs us in.
It worked.
I think you even grabbed the key, and then the owner came up.
Yep.
And then walked us through like the garden area to our own hotel, or maybe that was Milan. That might have been Milan.
That was Milan that you're thinking of.
Milan had like industrial sized air conditioning. It was like,
Yes.
it was amazing.
But Lido, I thought Lido also had like a small window unit, although I might be, what I do remember about Lido is loving it. The beach, like taking a jog by the beach in the morning. Just the fact that you could cross a street felt amazing, especially after like the canal frustrations. And I also remember that Italy got knocked out of the World Cup, I'm pretty sure, while we were on Lido. So we were like in Italy when all of Italy went into mourning. And like
Because they had won 4 years before.
Yeah. And I remember wanting to go out to watch the game, and I can't remember if we all went or if it was just me and Josh or me and Ben, maybe.
I don't remember either.
And we sat outside of a cafe until it became like obvious that Italy was about to lose, like in the 80th minute or something. And we just got up and slowly slinked away. Like we don't want to be anywhere near this place when they lose. Yeah.
Okay, so still that same day, we all hit the beach, and we decided we wanted to go back to the plaza because it had been raining, and that was like our only chance to see it at night. And we got there, and there was maybe 2 to 3 inches of standing water in the plaza, and all of the lights were reflecting off of it. And so we like waded around in the water. That was super cool. since, well, I figured no, but not many people got to experience that, but with Venice sinking, maybe it's more widespread.
Yeah.
I thought, yeah, that was. I remember like giving Roxy piggyback rides across like some of the deeper portions.
Yeah.
And there's only like there's just like a handful of people there, and then there was like orchestra playing. It was pretty cool.
Mhm. Okay, so the next morning, the next morning,
Was that beach day?
I thought that was when we went to, is it St. Mark's or St. Peter's?
St. Mark's.
Which-
St. Peter's Basilica or
St. Mark's Square.
Yeah.
And we were told that we had to like wear long sleeves, pants. Luckily I had my zip offs. Woo! And I could zip off right after that. I don't remember anything about the church. I remember a bunch of pigeons.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
the
that.
square. The square was filled with pigeons, and I think I like wrapped my rain jacket or something around my waist because
Yeah.
technically, like you had to have pants on or whatever, something
So you
like
made
that.
a kilt, basically.
I killed.
Basically, yes. Essentially, yeah. But they were also like giving people like they had a stock of, I don't know, not like skirts or wraps or something, so that you could wrap up your legs if you weren't prepared.
I just remember eating a lot of pizza, like really, really good pizza.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Hmm.
forgot that.
Yeah.
As soon as we rolled into Venice,
Yeah.
we found some pizza.
Yeah.
That margarita pizza is still probably the best I've ever had. That
Yeah.
first day there, or second day, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got Spants in here. I don't know who called.
That's what that was.
Okay.
Short pants.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty sure.
What if you just?
Pretty sure everywhere I went, I would just pull down my shorts a little bit so that they looked like short pants.
Oh, because Rafael Nadal had rocked the man prees.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, it was everybody in Europe was wearing them. Like, don't tell me these things are different. If those are pants, so are these.
And so after the square, that's when we found another Vaporetto and went to the island of Murano.
Yeah.
And we got there as they were pretty much closing up their shops. And so Josh and Eugenio quick ran into a glass blowing shop and they showed you how they make it.
That guy.
Yeah.
That was so fucking cool.
That guy made a horse in like 5 seconds, and it was the most amazing
Oh,
thing I've
like
ever
a-
seen in my life. And then he just shatters it to this shit. Like we're like,
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I remember thinking like, oh, sick, we're going to get that piece of glass after he's done. Nope, he just fucking remelted it, just threw it right back. And it was like, yeah. Like, I also remember him like working, and I'm like, that doesn't look like anything. And then like 2 more snips, and I'm like, that looks like a stallion that's rearing its head. Holy fuck.
did you guys?
Yeah.
You guys got your mom some stuff, right? Or
We went straight for a gift shop because we had wanted to get our mom something from Murano. I thought so heading into the trip. That's where we wanted to buy her something.
Yeah.
But we found like a really pretty clock. And like our mom still has that in her living room.
I wish I would have gotten one for myself because every time I see it in my mom's house, it's like so beautiful.
Yeah.
But I do remember it was heavy and we had to carry that thing around with us the rest of the trip.
Yeah, you probably had to carry it.
well, Ben had the big.
Along
The
with-
second piece of glass. Yeah, the second piece of glass you carried for weeks.
Jumping around.
Oh, yeah. Got it.
That's the United Square.
Hmm.
And then, yeah, I think we just went back to Lido and I ordered, oh, wait, Josh, you had bought an Italy jersey while we were in Italy,
Yeah.
while we were in Venice.
On the
Yep.
Ponte Rialto on that bridge.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I remember that. And then they promptly went away.
Yeah, I think I.
Yeah.
I think I
Oh,
wore
shit.
That, like when you and I were
Claudia just woke up. I think we were gonna. She's joining me in the car.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Hello!
Oh, wait a second. Let me take my headphones off.
Came to crash the party.
Hold up.
Mission accomplished.
Hi.
Morning.
Hey,
Sorry I kicked him out into the car for these.
Do you have a
It's early over
Do you have a Mo Salah shirt on?
I do.
Yeah.
We're about to work out.
yeah.
And I know everything you guys, so I pick strategically.
Wait a second. Do it again. Oh, yeah. I didn't even notice. Holy shit.
Those shirts are comfy.
Dude, they're the best. You guys want more? I'll send you.
Yeah, sure.
I want one.
Yeah. We'll get it.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
girls' ones are really nice.
The
too.
girls'
They
ones
have some
are
really good ones.
stupid nice. Yeah. I'll order you guys some. We just got through, what was it, Venice? I think
Yeah.
Venice.
But we're gonna run out of time again here because I got a meeting in 6
Yeah.
minutes. So we'll have to
Gotta
read.
do it again.
Next
Next week.
Thursday.
Next Thursday?
Yeah.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
I remember
Nobody.
the jersey thing. I remember that, like, Ben, did you buy your Netherlands jersey? And they're like, here's a free Brazil jersey. And you're like, no.
That was in Amsterdam,
Okay.
right?
Was Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Ben was like,
See?
no, that's not.
You can't fuck with my timestamps for sports stores, dude.
Yeah.
100%. I bought 1,000 on those.
I dragged you into that. I was in that store for like an hour. And then all of a sudden they dropped the, okay, pick out your free Brazil jersey. And half an hour later.
Ben was so
Sorry.
skeptical. He's like, is it a scam? What do you mean it's free? Ben, just take the jersey. Let's get out of here.
Yeah. I remember in that moment being like, oh, are we shopping for fakes? Like, shit.
Yeah.
If it's free, it's probably not real.
Yeah. So, no, that was a good purchase for sure. 2 for the price of 1.
All right.
Now you can go back in the house.
So next
George.
week? I know. But I have to go work out. I think I'd rather sit here. All right. So same meeting. You'll just move it to next week.
Fine, yeah.
I'm down.
Sounds good.
All right, guys.
See you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hey guys.
See ya.
See ya.